Internet? Back at it again, picking up where we left off for the last shotgun video. Hopefully you found that informative, and hopefully next time I go to the range I have somebody to hold the camera so you can actually see me shoot. But at any rate, I mentioned that that was my next shotgun, implying that I had a older shotgun. And you might be asking, why would I go buy two shotguns? Well, the one that I bought, the Benelli M4, is my home defense gun. It's purpose especially for that. Can I go hunt with it? Yeah, sure. But that's not really why I bought it. And typically, while you don't have to get an M4, people will classify shotguns in different ways. This is a hunting gun. This is a slug gun. This is a bird upland game gun, small game gun. And there's the whole tactical shotgun. And you can slap the label tactical on anything, tactical handguns, like Glock 19s are, and really the whole Glock family is considered a tactical pistol. But if you use anything in a tactical manner, it becomes tactical. There are just some things that are better suited for the job. What I'm going to do with this video is show you the shotguns that I have and point out the differences in both and what makes them better suited to whatever job, so you can make a more informed decision about what you want to get. Let's get into it. So what we have here are the three shotguns that are at my disposal at any point in time. I'm going to start from left to right, give you a basic walk down of what I've got here. So the gun to the far left is the Benelli Super Vinci. Again, I love Benelli, and I'll get into it why when I wrap the video up. But that was the first shotgun I bought, and I bought it because I got into upland bird, duck, and goose hunting while I was stationed out in the frozen wasteland known as North Dakota. Shout out to Will Novak for taking me out on my first bird hunt. This gun at the time, and still is very comparable, but it's been years. I bought this gun, I want to say 2012, 2013. And this gun was basically considered the Ferrari of duck guns. All right, Benelli and Beretta are typically the world leaders in fine shotguns. And Benelli has a claim to fame of having their managed recoil system and their inertia driven system, especially for their semi-automatic weapons. Basically what that means is that you can shoot, and this one is chambered in a 3.5-inch chamber. So you remember when I showed you the shells, how big the 3.5-inch shell was, meaning that I can fire larger game loads and increase my chances of being successful on a hunt, all the while not blowing my shoulder off. That gun is absurdly light considering how large it is, and yeah, it was an instant favorite. Like, my friends were looking at me like, you don't even know if you like hunting yet, and you bought the best gun out there. I'm like, well, yeah, I believe in buying quality because I can always sell it and get good money back for it instead of buying something that is just so-so. Okay? Now, to the middle is not exactly my gun, but it's my gun. This gun actually belonged to my late great-grandfather. And if you can't really see it from this angle, but if you notice, voila! Two barrels on that bad boy. That is a double barrel shotgun made by Savage Arms. I did a little digging on the history of this weapon, and it's the first one of these actually rolled off the assembly line back in the 1940s. So God knows when my grandfather bought it. It's actually very beautiful. It's got the wood. It's got the engravings. Yeah. So this was an instant favorite when I discovered it. In the basement, I thought my dad had given all the guns back to my grandfather's uncle because in his mind they're his. This gun is actually very famous in my family because my grandfather's brother evidently got up on a tractor to shoot it, and he pulled both the triggers, discharging both the barrels, and knocked him off with the tractor. It's just a running story. Double barrels, you know, they've been on plenty farms. You can hunt with them. They're optimized, most of them, so that one barrel, the right barrel, is has a more open bore to it, so it's suitable for closer range targets, and the left bore has a more restricted choke of it, so you can make longer range shots. All right, and then of course there's my gun, the Benelli M4. So key differences that you should notice are the overall length. If I rotate these things this way and line up the butts, you should be able to see, let me move this, how much longer certain barrels are. Now, in guns, the longer the barrel, typically the more accurate the weapon is, because what it does is it extends the radius between your front and rear sights, so it gives you a better, angle and a better sight when you are lining up on a target. But also, the longer the barrel, typically the rounds, whatever it's shooting, have more of a chance to accelerate and get more out of the gunpowder. So, for instance, especially out of pistols, this is critical. If you have a 9mm gun with a 5-inch barrel, and you shoot the same bullet out of a 9mm with a 4-inch barrel, the 5-inch barrel gun is going to be sending that same bullet a lot faster than the 4-inch, because it's had longer time to travel behind the in front of the gunpowder. So that's just something to keep in mind. But in home defense, That's not really all that practical. Yes, my all three of these shotguns will kill somebody plenty dead. But can you imagine trying to maneuver around a hallway with the duck gun, the Benelli, and even though the double barrel is shorter, it's longer than I want it to be, especially considering the capability. I have a saddle on the side where I can keep rounds, but at any point in time, I have two rounds at my disposal, then I have to reload. The Benelli has the capability of saying, I believe, of carrying up to 5 or 6 rounds, but because I bought this as a hunting gun, it was sold to me with a 3 round max magazine to be compliant with local law enforcement or local hunting laws. I'm pretty sure that there's a kit where I can just change out the magazine tube and then it converts it to a larger capacity. But again, that's not something I really need with that gun because that's not what I use it for. This bad boy, I can get 7 rounds out of it because there are 5 in the magazine right here, 1 in the chamber, that's 6, and then you can do something called ghost loading where if you can see my fingers right here, you shove a shell down in there and it sits on the tray. So every time I shoot it, it operates just like a semi-automatic pistol, and that'll give me 7 rounds. And 7 rounds isn't a lot compared to a pistol and everything, but you gotta understand, 1 round in a shotgun is a game ender, and each one is sending anywhere from 8 to 12 pellets out. So that's like shooting somebody 8 times with one squeeze of the trigger. You typically don't need that many rounds from a shotgun, and if you do, you need to reevaluate your life decisions. Okay. The other thing that optimizes these guns are the sights. So if you notice on the Super Vinci and the Savage Arms double barrel, these have bead sights right here and right here. And they're only halfway down the barrel because they're meant for you to line up on the end. I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm trying not to drop them. Right here. The other thing is, on mine, I have a fluorescent fiber optic tip right here just to make it more visible in low light conditions. Okay? Now, bead sights are tried and true. The saying with shotguns is that you don't aim a shotgun so much as you point a shotgun. Typically, they teach you to point the gun with both your eyes open and basically to either, depending on if the target is moving from left to right, to swing the bead through what you want to kill and squeeze the trigger once you get past it. And you lead it depending on how far away it is. All right? And of course, that's for like a flying prey consideration and everything like that. But there's a benefit to a bead sight versus what are known as ghost ring sights. So if you look down here, you see this ring right here. And what I'm supposed to do, I'm trying to angle this for you, is find that post in the middle at the end. I put the middle of the post inside the middle of the circle, and then I put all of that on whatever I don't want to be alive anymore. Now, can you duck and bird hunt with that? Sure, but it's not necessarily optimized for it. What it is optimized for is for target acquisition for longer range shots, something that might happen in a tactical environment. And as well as when you train, they can be just as fast as bead sights, but typically bead sights require a lot less for your mind and your eyes to do to get on target. At the end of the day, it's all going to come down to training, and you're going to be good at what you practice at. But it's just two different philosophies of sights. All right. All right. So now that you got a feeling of what a tactical shotgun looks like, we're going to get into what actually makes it tactical. First and foremost is going to be you and training and you moving with the tactile mindset to defend yourself. But beyond that, you want to set yourself up with the tools to make yourself successful, to give yourself the best chance to come out the winner should you ever have to defend your life. So the shotgun itself, yeah, it's going to do its job. It's going to bang and shoot. But it's going to be no good if, one, you can't see the sights, and two, because I showed you in the other video, you absolutely have to aim a shotgun. You can't just point it down the hallway. And number two, you need to be able to see what you're shooting. Okay? So the first upgrade I made on that was I put night sights, which you couldn't really see on there, but that front post, it glows in the dark. It's got something called a tritium insert. Tritium is a radioactive element that is stable. They put in plenty of gun sights. All right, I got those from XS, the letter X, the letter S, big dots. And that's been recommended to me. I've been using them. When I do a night sight video, you'll see them on my Glock. And James Yeager for Tactical Response, I follow his channel. There's a lot of good knowledge there. If you can suffer some of the idiots in his comments, yeah. But anyway, that's a good resource. But night sights are critical, especially on a carried pistol. But again, I'll get into that on the sight video. The other thing I got is this bad boy, a flashlight, which you'll notice is not only dumb bright, okay, but it's got a laser in it. And it's going to have a touchpad that's going to mount right on to where the front sling mount is on that shotgun. on the right side because I shoot right-handed, even though I'm left eye dominant. And it has a little control pad. It's the exact same light that's on my AR. I initially wasn't going to use it because it's a little big for, I don't want to put too much more weight on there. But at the same time, what sold me on this was the other options pretty much were set up to be on my left side, which I don't really like it being on the same, because if I want to aim down the barrel, I can't do it because the light's in the way. And then number two, this one sold me because I accidentally bought this one thinking it was just a light, but it came with a laser in it. And that's going to be critical for my shotgun because what I can do with it is shoot from the hip, meaning I don't have to come up and mount the gun and do that. If I have a laser and I know where my point of aim is, then I can shoot from the hip if I'm going around obstacles, or if I don't have time to get up on my gun. So that's pretty much what sold it for me. I'm going to have to play around with mounting it because, again, my Benelli is the Ferrari of shotguns, and because of that, there's not that much aftermarket support for it, and even the parts from the factory are hard to get because they're back ordered or whatever. So I got a mount coming that I'm going to have to play on there, and the main thing is I didn't want the sticky pad because that has a normal hand foregrip instead of like the rails that are on my AR. So it's going to be experiment process trying to figure out where to put the pad to activate the instant on and instant off of the light. You do want that capability because you don't want to have your light on it all the time. You want to be able to do this and turn it off so that whoever's there can't always figure out where you are based on your gun and everything. And I also am waiting on the sling that I want, the same sling that I have on my AR. It's called a slingster because it's adjustable. It's got a little tab on there that I can pull it tight to my body to help me with recoil or aim. Or I can get it loose if I want to get on my left shoulder and mount it. Okay, and so overall gun length, what tools are on the gun itself, the ammo capacity, all those things make it tactical. But again, it's going to be up to you to know your angles, to know where the enemy could come from, to know where your friendlies are, and to use your layout to the best of your ability to avoid getting shot and to take down whoever's in your house. Could I use the double barrel? That would probably be my second choice, but it's a distant second only because it's longer than I needed to be and I only get 2 shots and then I have to manually reload. But again, shotguns, there's very few problems that 2 12-gauge shells won't solve. And if it won't solve your problem, then you probably should have done more to avoid that problem. And then again, yes, I could pick up my bird gun if I need to, but trying to swing that thing around corners, I'd probably grab my pistol first just because, yeah, the shotgun's way more devastating, but I can't get it on target without presenting myself as one. All right? If you have any other questions about shotguns, by all means, hit me up in the comments, or you can email me at askapps, and I'll be askapps@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer them. Until next time.